Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Monday. It's a big day. Lots of stuff going on. We've had a huge conversation on here recently about homelessness in Eugene, and it's stirring up a lot of controversy, a lot of people talking about it. And I thought maybe it would just be helpful I'm going to try to bring Mike Clark, a city councilor, on board and see what he can kind of fill us in on with what's going on. Right now, I'm just sharing it. If you're wondering why I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm trying to get this thing shared to other pages as well. But I think it's an important issue. And for God's sake, we're going to just have a conversation. And I don't want anybody labeling people, and I don't want you bitching at one another. This is going to be a conversation or you're out. If you don't like that, if you like to control the conversation, or if you're one of those people who likes to start talking about my past or something that I said years ago, go away. You're not invited to play. This is going to be a conversation where we're going to talk kindly to one another. We're going to allow people to have different opinions on the issue. Just a whole bunch of stuff like that is going to happen. And I'm hoping that I can bring Mike Clark on board. Sometimes I have trouble when I do it with this unit. I don't see you on here yet, Mike, but let me kind of go in here like this. And I'm going to go here and see what I can do here. Anyway, here's the issue. So tonight, the Eugene City Council is going to talk about taking the former city council, or the former lot where, oh, come on, Rick, think about it. I've got so many things on my mind I want to say. The former lot where the City Hall was, and they want to put a temporary homeless camp there. So people are concerned. We've tried this before a few years ago down under the Jefferson Street Bridge. Didn't work out so well. Does that mean we shouldn't try it again? No, but it means we should keep that information in our heads as we're making a decision as to what to do in our city. I would love to hear from some business people who are around the area. The register guard tried to get some business people to talk, but no one would talk. Well, of course they're not going to talk. Anybody that speaks out on this issue is going to be castrated. People will try to make you look like a bad person because you don't agree with what is happening. And it doesn't mean you're heartless. It doesn't mean you don't think homeless people deserve to have a home or a place to sleep. What it means is that we have an issue in our town. And a lot of people are ending up downtown, and a lot of folks who live in Eugene, despite what people want to say, don't feel comfortable being in downtown Eugene. I don't think that's a good thing. And I think that is kind of a tough one. I'm going to see if I can get Mike on here. I'm going to push this over there. Boom, that should get him in there. So I am going to try to figure out how to bring him on when I get him. There's Michael. Okay, Mike, so I'm going to see if you may not have your camera on. I can't bring you on because it's not going to let me add you. So you probably don't have your camera turned on. So the council is going to talk about this tonight. And this would be a temporary place for people to camp. They don't have anybody to run it yet. They're talking with St. Vinny's. I love St. Vinny's. St. Vinny's does great things. So I woke up this morning and I had this thought because it bothers me that I'm hearing from so many people, and just for those of you who think I'm some right winger, I have just as many progressives on my page as I have anybody. We're all trying to, I care deeply about what happens to the homeless. And just because I look at it differently doesn't mean that I have less of a heart than somebody who thinks this is a good idea. I just see what goes on in downtown Eugene right now. And over at the county parking, or the county where they're camped out now, The county's spending thousands and thousands of tax dollars every weekend washing down the sidewalks and cleaning up poop off the street, and around the butterfly lot, to clean up. That's our money that could be going for something else that's being used for that. I don't think that's a smart use of funding for me personally. I would rather see those people that want to solve the issues of homelessness put in a place where they can get the help that they need, in a real shelter. I mean, so my idea was, why don't they take that empty lot, and I mean, this can't happen right away, but they should have been planning like this. Take one of these lots in town and build. So here's my thing. The city wants to spend over $10 million. I can't remember what the figure is. I think my camera and mic are on my laptop. Mike, you need to be on your phone. That's going to be the best. It has to be on your phone. So get on the show on your phone, and then I can bring you on. This is Mike Clark, a city councilor, who actually disagrees with the decision by the majority of the councilor to open up that lot for homeless people. So my thought was, why is the city spending tens of millions of dollars or more than that to build a city hall when we could use that money to build a facility to house the truly homeless and the mentally ill and get them back on their feet? Bring in we have so many amazing groups of people in this town, who organizations like St. Vinny's and Shelter Care, who are in the business of helping people who are in these situations, and have a place where they can live instead of putting it into a building where somebody's going to have their office, and a place where we could meet. Mike, let me see if I got you. Oh yeah, there you are. Okay, add. Mike, you just say yes, and it should add you. But give them help. And then somebody came on one of my other pages and said, we need to have a city hall as a symbol of our city. And I thought, good God, a city hall is a symbol of our city? I think a symbol of our city would be much better to have a facility in our community that, instead of putting money into a city hall, we put it into homeless advocacy, help for the homeless. I think that says a hell of a lot more about our community than having a symbol as a building where we could have civic discourse and a city council meeting. Besides, to me, you're already sharing space with the county right now. It appears to me that it's working. That would be, to me, a very sustainable thing, because we're recycling a building and using it for double purpose, for county meetings and city meetings. Now, I realize that's not absolutely perfect, but neither is anything. And to take millions of dollars and put those into a building so we can have a civic symbol of our community, rather than, to me, a civic symbol of Eugene, Oregon, would be to truly put our money where our mouth is and assist the homeless, rather than starting some camp over here that's makeshift and hurts businesses downtown, and going to, I don't know how they're going to police it and all that, but it costs a lot of money. I'd rather be seeing us look for a more permanent temporary solution than to do this. Who would be responsible for taking care of all these people? All those things, Peggy, are undecided at this point. Mike, I don't know why I can't get you on. Try it again, because you should be able to be invited to come on there. Treat them like dogs. So that's my point. So here's the thing. We need to be able to have this conversation. And the problem is, when they ask local businesses, I don't know, there's a meeting tonight, and I would suggest anybody who has a real things to say on this should go to that meeting and speak. Here's the problem. Who really is going to go do that? You will get lambasted. And I'm not trying to discourage you. I would never put myself in that position. I'll do it on here, because this is my page. And if you want to come on here and fart around with me, you bring it on. But I'm not going to go to a public meeting. And yeah, Mike, I'll try to invite you again. I really want you on here. This is what I was afraid of, is it doesn't always work that great. So keep trying. It should be bringing you in there. How many of you remember what happens when you had the camp at Jefferson Washington Bridge? Francis, that's exactly what people are saying. is what's different now, and I don't know. I just read the article in the paper or online actually, and it didn't, you know, not down for a Whoville too, you know, and I think the problem is that people try to make this like you are not being kind and you're being inconsiderate and that you hate the homeless. I do not hate the homeless. I go down there and talk to people. I have friends down there. I ask them questions. I know what they're talking about. You know, and I don't know everything and I don't live their life, but I do ask them questions. And I do run into other people in the community who are homeless. And a lot of them tell me they don't hang out downtown because they think it's dangerous. Um, that's that's not a good thing. We've got women and children who are afraid to be in our downtown area. The new downtown is becoming the Fifth Street Marketplace, and because there's security down here, there's people down here that make sure that people aren't just loitering around and camping and hanging out like that. You know, so this isn't against people who don't have a home. Um, the truly homeless in our community need to be helped. And we've got a lot of agencies that are expert at that. And if there's not enough places, because I get that, I mean, rent is outlandish. If I don't know how people could afford it. Um, it's very expensive to live here. And so people like that, but a lot of those folks, I want to know, see, and I'm being careful because there's just people waiting to lurch and slit my throat. Once more, please. Okay, Mike, I'll try one more time. That's why I wanted you in my office, because sometimes this technology just doesn't work. We're trying to get Mike Clark, a city councilor here in Eugene, who's been answering some questions for me on my page and stuff like that. And he actually brought this up at the council meeting when they decided this. He voted against it, and saying this isn't really a solution. There he is. Michael, thank you for joining us. It worked.
Yes, it did.
Can you talk? Let me hear you.
Let's find out. Is that loud enough? Can you hear me?
Talk a little louder. Just kind of scream a little bit. I do.
I've never been accused of not being able to be heard, so okay.
Okay. So, Mike, your concern with this move?
Yeah. I think, as you've mentioned here, I caught just some of what you were saying while I was trying to make this work, and I agree that there's an awful lot of investment that the city has done in downtown over the last couple of years. There's an awful lot of investment by an awful lot of business people in downtown, and I think that this may be counterproductive to put a homeless camp in this place.
So what do we do instead?
Yeah, and another piece of that is that another piece of the problem for me is that this is more of a reaction than it is a plan on how to deal with the problem.
Okay.
From my point of view, we need to have a better plan. I back in about 3 months ago in July, I brought up to my colleagues on the council the idea of us purchasing the eWeb administration building as City Hall with funds from the Riverfront Urban Renewal District. And then that would leave the money we have set aside for a City Hall able to be used to build a public homeless shelter. And I spoke with some county commissioners who have at least an interest in the discussion of doing so on bare land that they already own and would allow us to build it on.
Where would that be, Michael?
I'm sorry?
Where would that be?
Right next to the mental health facility and the new transitional housing that they're building across from Watson behind the arborvitae there.
So it'd be easy access to buses and services and that.
Yep. Yeah.
So is this?
The thing, we have the money to do both right now, but we have to, as a council, get over the idea that we have to have this new, mini Taj Mahal built on the butterfly lot as a city hall, which I have always thought is the wrong way to go.
Mike, don't you think it's funny that in a community, this is my opinion, in a community like Eugene, I saw somebody write on there, we need a city hall as a symbol of our community. Wouldn't it be much more appropriate to have a symbol of your community, a place where people are being helped who are truly homeless and getting their feet back on their ground? Isn't that a much better symbol of our town?
And we've been working on that and trying to come up with a good plan, working with the county for how we deal with a public homeless shelter The challenge is going to be paying for it, and especially if we're going to use this money to build the city hall instead, having a significant public homeless shelter may be difficult to finance. So from my perspective, the city really ought to be helping all of those folks who want to get well. And on the other side of that coin, from my point of view, we should stop enabling folks to stay unwell that don't want to get well. And I think that I don't think that's compassionate to them or to
I
our
don't either.
community. Yeah.
So how, but publicly to say that, Mike, you get lambasted. I already told somebody, I don't think, this is from a long time ago. They don't forget when I said, I don't think sleep is a human right. I think it's a need. I think they're
Well,
two different things. Well, that just blasts people out of their panties, and they're just angry as heck at me for saying that. And it's
right.
like, people need a place to sleep, but we also need to be helping the people who want to be helped.
Yeah, that's really my differentiation point is that anybody who wants to get well, because there's an awful lot of people that need help that we can help and that we should. But if what they want is not to be accountable, not to be well, and to live in a dysfunctional way, I think as a city we should stop kind of enabling them to stay stuck in that place because I don't think that's very compassionate at all.
So what do you do? How does the city deal with that?
Well, if we had a public homeless shelter and we had an alternative place for the large number of people to go, and we had the ability for them to connect with services better than we do now, then the police could actually do their job of enforcing the law against illegal camping. One of the reasons we have a bunch of folks camping around the butterfly lot right now is because the county doesn't want the city to enforce the illegal camping ordinance around the butterfly lot because they know those folks are doing that to try to create a lawsuit that they're afraid they may lose.
Because I've gone down there, and I mean, I love talking to the people down there, even the people that are there who want to be there. And
Yeah.
and a percentage of the folks on the downtown area will admit to me, they'll just tell me, I'm not tricking them, I'm just asking them that they're fine living where they're living, and they're, and I think that's okay to say because it's the truth. But there's a whole bunch of other people in our community who are homeless, and they really would like to, they're trying to find ways with St. Vincent de Paul and shelter care and stuff like that to get help. And those to me are the people we need to really be focusing on that want to get out of that situation.
Well, if we have an adequate place large enough to be able to give services to folks and to get them into the right place and to get them into transitional housing, then that want to get well and want to move on with their lives, it separates out by nature those.
So how is anybody going to change? You got, I don't remember how many city councilors are. I don't pay attention anymore. But it's you, and I mean, it's going to pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about all those business owners that I've had people coming on who are business owners and say, Rick, I can't say anything publicly because I'll get lambasted. But
right.
I already have people with needles and poop on my doorstep and stuff like that. And this is going to even be worse. And I can't, they feel like their hands are tied, and they have investment in that business.
I agree entirely. I understand how frustrating that has to be. I owned a downtown business on 8th and Willamette for 7 years. I was in that space, so I saw it and lived it firsthand. I understand entirely. But here's the thing. We don't have unanimity in the council about how to deal with this. My colleague's approach is something that I've disagreed with. I don't think that a series or a collection of camps is the right plan to deal with this. I don't think as we approach the winter, people ought to be sleeping outside, no matter what kind of organized way they're doing it. I don't think that's compassionate in any way. I think what we ought to be doing is coming up with a better plan, and I've put one forward, but my colleagues are not interested in using the money for that purpose. And what people can is give input to their city councilor. Specifically, I have a couple of colleagues, and well, I don't know if I want to call them out quite so boldly, but I would say that for people who want to see this dealt with differently, give their input to their city councilor and to the mayor. Come tonight, for example, to the city council meeting and speak at public testimony at 7:30 and say, we'd like you to build a public homeless shelter and not spend that money on the city hall.
Okay, Mike, thank you for having the guts to do this, and I know you'll take hits for it, and so will I. But it's like,
Yeah,
I love this town. I
I do
do
too.
have compassion, and I know you do too, for the people
Yeah,
in the town who are homeless. But I think we have some situations we need to set a standard so that
clearly,
we can have our town back.
clearly what we're doing right now isn't working, and we need to be approaching this differently, more
And
compassionate.
the reason I like that you're here too, and that people can do this, is I think we have to have these conversations. It can't
Yep.
be just one group of people. We all have to, and I want to hear from other kinds of people as well that have different ideas. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of being beaten and you're mean or you're not, you don't care about people. You cannot say that to me. Because
Right.
you're just trying to control the conversation. And I want my voice to be heard, and I want other people's voices to be heard.
That's right, and they should. I mean, I like the way you open this. We can have a civil discussion with people. I like plenty of people that I disagree with, and I think we can do that okay. We're grown-ups, and we can probably do this without name calling and come to a better solution.
That I'm gonna borrow that from you and not give you credit. I think we can act like grown-ups, put our big boy and girl pants on, and
Right,
have a real conversation,
right,
and realize that we can learn if we listen.
right.
Hey, Mike, thank you. All
Thanks.
right, so you guys, Mike just said you can just hit your off button and you'll go away. So Mike just said the thing that you can do is write your city councilor, write the city manager, and that's really easy to do because all you have to do is go online, go to the city website, and you can write one letter and then just send it to each one of them. And be nice, be kind, and don't be irritating and in somebody's face when you're doing this. Nobody listens to that kind of thing. We want to be kind and make our opinion, so don't go in there and start blasting them. Instead, go in, here's my opinion and here's my reasons why. And that's going to make at least your voice will be heard. And then if you have the time tonight, show up at 7:30 at the council chambers, which is in the county building because they don't have a city hall and it's working fine, I guess. And you can go testify and just do a little 3 minute, I think it's a 3 minute or 1 minute or something. Just make it really concise and don't feel like you have to change the world. You're just offering an idea and your opinion. Okay? So it is our town and we want to be kind. But we also want to do the right thing for our business community and the people who are homeless. And I love the idea of let's start talking about the city hall. What do we really want to be the symbol of Eugene, Oregon? A city hall or a place that cares for people? And maybe you can't have both. And so then we have to make choices because dollars are limited. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. So anyway, and if you do disagree, please feel free to comment on here kindly. If you disagree and want to be rude, you can go to someone else's page. We don't like to do that here. But we do want to hear your opinion, and because we learn from this stuff, okay? When we have conversations, we learn. If you disagree, state your case, let us know what it is, but be kind. That's all we ask because we're not going to hear you. I want to learn, and I'm not going to learn if you're screaming and yelling and calling me names, okay? So that's it for today. This is Get Real with Rick Dancer. Yeah, it's our community. What do we want? And I think we have to think about everybody, the homeless, the business community, our downtown, all of it. And, and then I hope something good comes out of all of this. So, anyway, all right. Have a good day. I got to go back to work. See ya.